Wagwan, Wagwan. It's the 1878 Casuals. I'm Sinatra. We're brought to you by Terrace Cult and Moo Mia Ice Cream, the world's greatest Danish ice cream. Shout out to Danish Mark. I'm here with Mad Face, Casey Gale, and LA's top one, Mikey the Moocher, aka Bandito Mike. So obviously we haven't had a game this week. Don't play till Sunday. So the lads wanted to get together, talk a few different subjects. And so hope everybody caught Bandito's video that he put out the other day on Sancho. And so today we wanted to talk about Diallo and Facundo Pellistri. So go ahead, take it away, Mikey.
So yeah, we want to get together and talk about two young players who have a similar profile and talk about where they are in their development and possibly moves for next season. So the first one is you mentioned Amad Diallo. He's a 20-year-old right winger, currently on loan at Sunderland. He was brought in from Atalanta, played with the 21s at United. So he had a loan at Rangers, and it started good. He got a goal in his first game, but it wasn't too impressive.
And Gerard was coaching, right? So he didn't really have a chance anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if it was he's not a big player. He's not a big physical guy. So I don't know if it was the physicality of the lovely Scottish Premier League up there, but he didn't find it a great loan. And that's always the risk of sending a young player on loan, right? That they don't get on with the manager, or it's not a correct fit.
And side note, for those that aren't familiar, the Scottish League is similar to the Championship, where it's like low on technical quality and high on getting your socks knocked out of you.
They get stuck
in.
Yeah, they get stuck in. Very physical. And Amad Diallo, I think he's like 5'9". He's another short arse, but very technically gifted.
But easily pushed around.
Right, he can be. He's had that. So currently, again, he's at Sunderland in the Championship. Just throw some numbers at you. He's had 29 appearances, and many of those are starts. He's a regular starter on their side. And he's kind of he's all over the pitch. He's at the 10. He's out wide.
Yeah, left wing, right wing, through the middle. I noticed that.
Right. So 9 goals, 2 assists. In December, he was named the Championship Young Player of the Month.
Was it young player? I thought it was this player.
So he's not just doing decent. He's one of the better players. He's actually one of the top players in the Championship, I would say. So yeah, we can say the Championship is a very physical, very fast-paced. Tends to maybe lack just a bit of that last quality, but he's doing very well, very well. One of the top young players in the Championship.
And it's fair to say in the Championship, that top half of the table, a lot of those teams are Premier League quality, right? They're chasing promotion, so it's not like you're playing, every week against the pond scum.
Right, you're playing low. I think it's 40 matches they're playing.
I think he has like 46 total league matches. That's a lot.
Loads of games, and like I said, so he does play on the right, but he also plays centrally. So let's see what is he offer in the attacking third, which is probably most important for his position, right? So he's a left-footed player, and if we say Anthony is a one-trick pony with that left-footed cut inside and the curler, Diallo's got that as well, and that's where quite a few of his goals come from. But he'll also cut it back and go near post, go to the byline and do a cutback. He's almost like Sancho, where he's got like really tight dribbling and two-footed great control. So he's very dangerous. He knows where the goal is. So for a small player, he can really produce up there. Now in the middle third, where we're talking about build up and possession, he's very comfortable dropping back to receive the ball. His heat map is very central. It's not tight out, out wide holding the width. He's very comfortable and then moving across even to the other side of the pitch. Carries the ball very well. He's got deceptive shoulder drop and good moves. One of the things about United is we seem to always get man marked. So once you're able to beat your man and carry the ball, and then that makes their defense kind of scramble to recover. One of the questions about him is, like we said, the physicality. 20 years old, not a very big powerhouse. You could say maybe he got found out at Rangers, where they let physical play go. So he found that low move a little difficult. But yeah, like I said, at the championship, he has proven that he can perform in a rough and tumble league and still produce. Right, that's what it's all about, is producing. And I would say he's, in my opinion, I think he's definitely ready to come back and compete with Anthony and push Anthony for that starting position. So I would. What do you think, Face? You said you hadn't seen too much of him, but what do you think? You think we need a player that is more central, or do you like that winger out wide?
For him or for us? I mean,
for the team, for the side.
Well, I think we need both actually, but what I would like to see him be a little bit more direct for us. He's a lot like Anthony to me. They want to cut back and use that left leg. Between him and Pellistri, wow. Let's. I like him. I like his progress actually. I like that the Scottish league was shitty for him and he got beat up every week. I think that if he's a smart kid, that's why he's doing well right now in the championship, because he's got to say anything after that is not that was hell.
It showed a bit of grit and determination to.
Yeah, I mean, we never heard him complain, but you could see it in his game. His game, it was dead. And I saw one match when he played well, then I watched the next match and he was just getting pushed around. And the thing about the Scottish league, what I noticed for him was I don't think his teammates had his back either. So it was a horrible experience. It just guys weren't helping him up, so.
Yeah, difficult for a loanee to kind of get the team on your side if you're not really putting up
tough.
the numbers.
And you're coming with the bad Chester United badge, with that. But that's what I see now is it's really good. It's he shows that because a lot of people think that the championship is the step before Premier League, so it's always a good gauge for guys to go to the Premier League. And he's handling it well. I just would like to see him go more wide. I feel like he likes to cut in a lot, and I think we have that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. He likes to pick up the ball centrally and play almost like a 10, like similar to Bruno when we play him out there. Well, I would say to his credit, his maturity, he's learned to use his body, to fight off the physicality and to deal with the physicality, and showed a lot of grit and determination, and just keep moving forward. So only 20 years old. I think the trajectory is pretty good on him. And for me, I think what we've seen, I think he's probably done enough to be in the first side. for next year.
You would think so.
Okay, so
people.
we'll move on to Facundo Pellistri, Uruguayan. He is 21 years of age, so he's a year older. Yeah, so he was at with a Peñarol with the world champion, the old Club World Cup in South America. Came to United in 2020. Had a loan spell in Spain for 2 years, and it was not impressive. The first year, handful of matches with Alaves. Again, I don't know if it was, sometimes the manager is got one thing and the management has another idea. Wasn't that great. So I was surprised when they loaned him the second year as well. Had about 20 appearances, but not many starts. A lot of those were coming off of the bench as a sub. And Alaves, bottom table, not very expansive, not very attractive football. They didn't, the young kid, you got to turn him loose, right? And they weren't a club that was going to do that. So it wasn't a good fit. Came back to United, and it's been a lot of talk about another loan move. I know his Pellistri's management and his agents were saying, play the kid or find a loan for him. So at 21, he's had only a handful of appearances in a substitution role. But when he does come on, looks good, looks direct, almost a little desperate, like to make something happen, right? Like maybe sometimes a little too, he's got to prove a point, he's got to show his quality, and maybe he's a little too direct, a little too desperate at times. He's a willing runner, tracks back, up and down. I think when he does go forward, I'll use Garnacho as an example because he's magic, right? Or Garnacho takes his player on and he finds that pass or he finds the goal. I think as of right now, Pellistri just doesn't quite have that last bit.
Yeah, don't make it happen.
Right. So I think it's because I would say he's maybe a year behind where we would think he would, because he's not 18 and he's 21. So he was playing with the 21s and he's now in the first team. And I think Ten Hag has told him, you've got to come in as a sub and be able to make an impact as a sub. And I think he's done that. And then after that, you're going to have to come in as a starter and affect the game for 90 minutes. And that's maybe where he's lacking a bit. So maybe it's something controversial. Maybe you don't agree with it. But for me, right now, I would say I have not seen enough to say that this is a Manchester United player.
Ooh.
And it's not saying that he won't be or he can't be. I think he's kind of with Alanga, where they both have something to prove before you can say, yeah, this is a United caliber player. But I haven't seen it. What do you think, Sinatra? Because some people love the kid, and that's fine.
So I'm in the I love Pellistri. I'm in the I love Pellistri camp. Real quick thought on Diallo. Something that we didn't bring up. What's important to me with Diallo is, when you send a player like from United on loan, you expect him to be the star, to be the impact player, because, if you're not going to have impact in the championship, how can we expect you to have impact in the Premier League, at the biggest club in the world? So I love that Diallo's doing his thing in the championship. He's like you said, one of the better players. I also like that I don't think he's pigeonholed into one set position. Like we said, he can play on the right, he can play on the left, he can play through the middle, he can play behind the striker, and he's scoring goals, which is something that Pellistri, he's a different sort of player. And what I like about Pellistri is, if you're going to say, okay, we need someone that's going to challenge Antony, that's going to, come in either off the bench or, like you said, challenge for the starting 11. I like that he's sort of a different mold. Like he's, Antony, we know what he's going to do. He's going to get the ball. He's going to cut on his left foot. But Pellistri, I like that there's more to his game. There's more. He's more dynamic. I like that he's trying to get to the byline. He's trying to put crosses in. And I like that he's desperate. You know what I mean? He wants to make an impact. I love that because, that shows that he's got that hunger and he's not afraid. And I think the reason that Pellistri is maybe a year behind where we thought he would be is, like you said, 2 failed loan moves, didn't really work out for him. And, sometimes that kind of thing can't be helped, but sometimes you need those experiences and playing at that level, certainly better than, being stuck still playing in the, under 21, playing Papa John's Pizza Cup. But I think regardless, we're going to have to see what comes in the summertime, preseason tour. There's a lot of these guys that are sort of on the fringe, are going to get their chance. In my mind, I think we can keep both. I think Diallo is going to end up being like a left-footed Marcus Rashford type, because there's so many different areas we can put him in, and he wants to make things happen. He wants to score goals. Where
he's got
I think Pellistri's, and I think Pellistri is going to be more of that old school traditional winger like Garnacho is, but maybe not score as many goals. But I'm fine with that. The winger doesn't always have to score all the goals. If he's putting in crosses and getting the ball in the right area, and we've got a proper center forward, next year that's in the box and putting them away. That's all that could be said. But honestly, I think we're in a position for the first time in a long time where we can keep both of these players. And I honestly think Alanga's the guy that's going to be, on the outside looking in. And another thing to be said, Pellistri, full international with Uruguay, played at the World Cup. Diallo, full international with the Ivory Coast. I mean, these are kids with bright futures.
Yeah, and I'll say this about the difference between the two is Diallo is very good on possession and possessing the ball through into attack and build up, whereas Pellistri, he's really good at like turnover football, like transition, catching the
on the break. He's
catching their back line out, right? Yeah, really fast, really carry the ball well. So they do offer, like you said, they do offer something different. And one is, more of a build up where, Ten Hag wants to control. He wants to control the ball, build up, have a lot of possession. But you need that X factor when they lose the ball, and then it's Casemiro with one touch to put you into a dangerous position, and I think that's what he offers as well. So neither one have it all, but for me, I think Diallo is a little more complete, and I think his style fits a little more of where United's going. But I do think Pellistri, like I said, I haven't seen enough because he's only had a handful of appearances. But when he does get on, he looks very direct, and that's something that other players maybe can't offer. So
to be fair, this is really his debut season, right? For Pellistri. Yeah. I mean, he really hasn't got a chance in the first team until now.
Yeah, and I think I think they both jumped Alanga, like you said. And it doesn't mean that Alanga's, a shit player. We're not here to slag him off. He was thrown into position he was because it was needed, and that kind of maybe hurt his development.
That's a
But
guy
yeah,
that he probably could have had done with a loan, Alanga.
yeah, and I would imagine that might be the next course for him, but maybe that's a video for another time. Talk about Alanga and who's who's in and
To be
who's out.
fair, there's quite a few players that are like on the fringe going into the summer that it's that's going to be make or break. I think the summer is going to be important because you got guys coming in off a loan that have done well. You've got Hannibal Mejbri coming back. We've got Diallo coming back.
What happened to Ethan Laird? Is he hurt? Is he playing for QPR?
He was hurt, but he just hasn't been selected. He's been in the team.
Oh, they had to change the bosses too, didn't they?
But yeah, that's always the danger of a loan move. It's like one boss loves you, and then the next coach comes in and he's like, nah, this is not what we need.
I think that's what happened to Diallo. No, when he was at Rangers, was they had sacked the manager that brought him in on loan, and it ended up being Gerrard, and that just kind of we knew he was never getting any more playing time. We had to bring him back. We're like, nah, that's not gonna work.
That was a tough loan for him.
So yeah, and then we've got some other good loanies out there, young players, and we've got some older loanies out there. But I think for me, Diallo is like on the top of the list of the loanies that are going to come back and be an impactful player next season. So I'm looking forward to him continuing to have a good season this year and then bringing that experience.
I love Pellistri. His Real Betis game showed me a lot. It showed me that his movement, his off ball movement was smarter than I thought it was. He was creating.
He's very good in transition, right? He got the ball.
Yeah.
It was.
I like the fact that he offered us something different by attacking the outside of the defender, because Ahmad, he wants to cut back too. That's what I'm saying. We have a lot of cut back in guys. We need someone to keep with, and we don't have that on the right. I mean, Sancho don't do that either. He wants to come back into the middle too. So then we have Ahmad, Anthony, and Sancho. All three of these guys want to cut back in. And when we watch games, we're always like, someone keep with. Someone keep with. When Pellistri did it, he caused 2 goals just by going wide. Just for that simple fact, he went wide. He caused 2 goals. Just he crossed it in and someone poofed it in.
Well, it was off of a corner, right? And they played it to him direct. It didn't really work out, but the defensive line pushed up, and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to attack the line," and he just went past his man, and he was in the match for like 5 seconds.
Yeah,
went past his man, cut the ball back,
but he did it with the right leg.
That was Veghorst's goal, right?
Right, but I'm saying he at least did it with the right. We haven't seen Anthony do that, or if he does, he's trying to do something clumsy and go back to the left. I've watched a little bit of Ahmad. I like the dude. I like the kid. He's good, but I'm still seeing that cutback, and that's the only thing I'm saying we don't. I mean, teams they're going to have film on guys now. They're going to be like,
for me,
show them the line.
I've watched not every game, but I do watch his games, and I look at his stats and I look at his FP report, and he's gonna beat a guy to the near post as well. He's got goals to the near post. He'll do that slip pass. All the things we're yelling like for Anthony to do, he's doing it in the championship. So you can't just drop that second guy in and make him pass backwards like you can with Anthony, because he doesn't want to use his right foot. So
what's brilliant about Ahmad too is he scored, predominantly a lot of his goals have come from the right wing, but he scored, playing at the 10, he scored playing center forward. Like, kid's got goals in him.
He does.
That's the one thing I think you would say between him and Pellistri is Ahmad is there to score goals, where I think Pellistri's he's more of a, he's there to set up goals. If he can get that final ball rocking, because honestly, like Face was saying, we've got so many guys that like to cut in. We don't have anybody except for our fullbacks that are willing to just, put a cross in. If you've got the winger that's going to keep it wide and actually put an accurate cross in, that's, something different that we don't get every week. And honestly, Juan Bissaka is still not the most accurate crosser of the ball. And I still don't think Delo's not the player he was before he was injured. So
yeah, that's something
it's
to
nice
watch.
It's nice to have a traditional, what we call it, the chalk on the boots winger that's going to stay out there, beat his man, get the fucking ball in, like that. That's what I like to see. That's the type of wing play I like.
I mean, whoever it is going to be backup anyway, because it's like a D1 when the head coach recruited somebody, that motherfucker plays. You know what I'm saying? If the head coach says, that's my guy going to play. So whoever it is, we already know who's starting until it's like a riot or a boycott. But hopefully someone develops their right foot a little bit in the off season and shows us some development. Because that's
okay. So in closing, we know we need center forward, maybe a backup for Casemiro or an 8 in the midfield, and we need probably a right back. But what we can use in-house, bring up from youth, is that backup, a right winger and someone to push. And Anthony's not going to play every game. There's going to be injuries. There's going to be rest and rotation. So it's great that we can do that without going into the transfer market.
So, we haven't seen that since Sir Alex Ferguson. If we're really going to be honest with ourselves, when's the last time we could say there was, 6, 7, 8 academy guys that you could say legitimately could make up a good chunk of the squad, and we're not, laboring in the transfer market, overpaying for guys that we don't really need to be overpaying for.
I never thought about that. That's the one position we do not need.
Right. So it's really good to see these youngsters keeping the tradition of coming into the first team.
Ten Hag too, not just the youngsters.
Taking
Ten Hag's about it.
Right. So that's all I got. You guys got anything else?
I want to know what Face is drinking. Is that a Foster's?
No, it's back on Guinness. I'm trying to get a Guinness sponsor, so every time I drink it, I tag it, and hopefully they sponsor the lifestyle.
Listen, you need to get with the Irish lads. If you want to get on the Guinness.
Speaking of sponsors, if you like Face's shirt, you think he's fresh, which he is. Come on.
Always. Come on down. Flex it.
Terrace Court USA, supporting the channel. So go and get your gear. Manchester label without the crazy prices. So we're glad
some
that
red,
back in
some
the channel.
blues.
We need to get a new code or something.
So yeah, that's it. Bandido Mike, Big Face, and the man Sinatra with the golden voice for 1878.
You know what it is.
Talking Ahmad Diallo, talking Pellistri. Get your say down in the comments. Who's ahead for you?
Smash the bell, right? Smash the bell, get the comments.
Yeah, stop telling me in my inbox.
Glazers out.
Thanks.
If they don't leave.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one.
You better leave, Glazers.